You can use paste inside with link layers in Affinity Photo. Go to the Tools panel and create a rectangle. Doesn't have to be a rectangle, it could be any shape. What I want is a container. So I've got this design here. Key thing, always with link layers, is you need to rasterize it. Turn it into a pixel layer. So go to a layer and down to rasterize. So you can see now, pixel layer. Now I'm going to go for another shape. And I'm going to go for ellipse. Doesn't have to be ellipse, could be any of these other shapes. Or an image, etc. Something to paste inside that design. So I've got this design. However, make certain you've got the colours, etc. in the way that you want before you do any work. Doesn't work so well trying to change the colours later. So I would suggest do that. But you need again to rasterize this design. So a layer and a rasterize. So it's a pixel layer as well. Now I'm just going to cut it. Or copy, you could do that as well. Edit and cut. And I'm going to paste it inside. So edit and paste inside. That's the key one. Not paste, but paste inside. So it's pasted inside, and you can see in layers it's sort of tucked away there. Now I've got it over here, layer and duplicate linked. This is the key one. I've got a shortcut, so I'm just going to use that all the time just to quickly create some designs. So duplicate layer, and you just get that, duplicate linked. So Command 5 on mine. You can always quickly create some shortcuts for this. Makes it a lot easier. Just quickly do it. Now what you can also do with this design, you can always resize it, you can rotate it, so you don't have to have them all exactly the same. That isn't linked. So again, another couple. Don't have to do the whole lot. However, that's the point. I'm going to stop. What you can then do is you can apply filters. So filters and go down to Distort. You could use any of these. Doesn't have to be. It could be mirror, it could be shear, twirl, perfectly reasonable. But I'm going to go for Deform. I like Deform. It's a nice sort of one for creating all kinds of warping, very quick and easy. So I'm just going to quickly warp that design. And you can see you can also use similarity if you want, which is not so good in that case, but rigid. And you can add some more and distort it even more. So once you're happy with your design, you can stop. Now that's all based on a single shape that I've selected. So any of these shapes can be selected, and then I can apply it again. I can resize that design. See that design there? I can always go to filters. I could use repeat. Also I could go distort and deform and just deform that design. And all of them again will change. So you can create some very unique designs, very quick and easy that way. Apply. And again, you can resize it and move things around, etc. Rotate. But as I said, you can go filters, distort, maybe twirl. Create that design. I don't want that, but I wanted to show you, you can create some very unique designs using that. So got that design now. I can also distort the actual container. So there's the container here. So I can resize it. So I can resize it. They all scale as well. So which is quite nice, which is quite useful. The reason I'm doing that because otherwise if it goes over the edge, for some weird reason it cuts it off in a bad way. So I'm just going to quickly go for filters and distort and deform. Again, you could use twirl, I could use any of the others, perfectly reasonable. And I can just distort the design just a little bit. Just so you can create a very slightly more unusual design than just a rectangle. Maybe with a hole in it like that. Then apply. Now what you can also do, you can go here to the pixel, just one. That's all that you can do. You can just change all the blending modes. You can run through those if you want. That's fine. I'm just going to keep it with that. But you can do that with any linked layer. You can change the blending modes, which is super useful. But however, when you do it, it will, if you've got a lot on the screen, it does really flash. So if you don't like flashing images, that's why I'm avoiding doing it, because it does flash. It annoyed me as well. So I was thinking, why does it flash so much when it But what you can also do, you can go to down here to effects. Now these are all parts of things. The scale, rotation, they're not in the linked, but layer effects, they are. So I can just go for 3D. I can use the others as well. Of course, I can go for color overlay, all those sorts of things. And you can modify just change that. But I'm just going to go with that. And they all got that same 3D effect, which is quite nice in this. But also what you can do, you can go up to the container. You've got this container design. You can do the same. So just go down here to effects again. Now that, you notice, hasn't got anything yet. I can put 3D to that as well. So 3D, and I can give that a 3D effect. So it's got the internal 3D and you've got the external 3D as well. And of course you've got a colour overlay as well. So you can just quickly go for colour overlay. Obviously black, not very useful, but you've got blending modes. So you can just run through, hard mix, change the colour there, and so on and so on. So you can create some different designs from that. I'm not going to do that, but just want to point that out. Colour overlay, pretty useful. Gradient overlay, also super useful. So you've got this design now. I'm just going to put them all together, and I can go to a layer, and I can rasterize the entire design. So no, I don't want to do that. I want to not preserve that. So all the whole thing, all the 3D. Now that's it. You can't modify those internal designs now. It's all been rasterized. It's a pixel layer, solid, done, baked in. Now I can resize that, but also what I can do, I can go to layer, and I can go to duplicate linked. So I can duplicate link that. And again, got my shortcut, so I'll quickly create a few more. And a couple more. And I can resize that. I can rotate those. I can do shear. I haven't done shear, but I can do shear. So you can shear it. They all are still linked. Every one of them are exactly the same as any of them. So they're all identical. So what I can do, I can go. Now, I would not suggest selecting all those. So if you go here and select every single one and then try to rasterize that, on my machine, for some weird reason, it falls over. Now, if you want to do that, you want to extend it further and further, I would suggest before you do anything, go to File and Save As, which is probably a good idea anyway, most of the time. So you just save it and you've got to or put it to your assets, and then you've got it saved away. So you can always store it away, View, Studio and Assets. Super useful. So now with this design, they're all linked. I can go to Filters and Distort, and if I could use twirl, in fact, let's just use twirl instead. You can see twirl. There you are, twirl, and you can see as I do that, all of them change at the same time. And that creates quite an interesting design. So apply. And you can see the design. Now, obviously, when it does the preview, it doesn't always match the end result because it's got a sort of weird, obviously it has to process it, it gives a view of it. So you might have, oh, it doesn't look exactly the same. So there are things that, with that twirl, that sort of slightly a bit annoying, but that's the way it works. So filters and distort and deform, this is more reliable in terms of what you get. So I'm just going to just drag that around, and you can see as I do that, the whole thing distorts. And you can then distort that and create all kinds of weird and wonderful designs. Very quick and easy with multiple sort of contours there, and apply. Now that might take a bit of time to process. You've got a lot of pixels on there, a lot of things to do, but you can still continue to duplicate if you want. So layer and duplicate linked, if you want to create more, they're all identical still. So you can still fill the design. And of course, what you can do if you want, you can always go down to effects and you can say, well, let's go for 3D. And now I can add a 3D bevel on top of the 3D, on top of the 3D, that sort of thing. And also you've got, of course, blur, bevels. You can change, create all kinds of different unique designs very quick. And it's still, if you go to filters, go to distort and deform, you can see then as you deform it, it's deformed with that 3D effect as well. Again, it's a pity, click apply, that now I can't rasterize that particularly well. I say maybe you can do it, but again, I would suggest file, save, and then you could continue to experiment, maybe create multiple copies and multiple copies and multiple copies, all with linked. That would probably work, but for some weird reason, I've done this a few times in my run-throughs of this, and it crashes. Must be something that I'm doing wrong. Anyway, hope you found this tutorial of interest. I've got lots of other videos on the link layers features in a sequence, so please check those out as well. Lots and lots of different information there. Also, a like or dislike, always appreciated. Thank you much.